do something. I'm making this video very late. I promised you guys 3 videos a week. I think about 2 weeks ago when I made the last video, which was disclaimer, and I haven't given you a new video. I apologize. It's not because I was preparing some big project or working on something big behind the scenes. I really just was overthinking and consuming way too much information to sit down with the facts, and instead of just sitting down with the facts and accepting that I'm under constraints, and these constraints aren't a bad thing. They don't allow me to create what I've been watching, and that's a good thing, because if I did, then I just disappear into the void. Same with everyone else who's creating exactly what they're watching. But I'm rambling. Let me get back to the point. The point is, I want you to do something. Okay, I apologize for not bringing out the videos earlier. I want you to do something. Now, you're coming at me with a lot of aggression. You're probably going to say, my parents won't allow me to, and I'm speaking specifically to those age 16 to around 22. You're still living with your parents. Those are the people I'm speaking to. You need to do something with your life, okay? Regardless of whether you're comfortable with your parents, they're providing for you. You want a new console, they get it for you. You want a new iPad, they get it for you. You need to do something, okay? You need to become independent. You don't need to leave your parents, but you need to understand that this fragile illusion you're trying to live in, where your parents agree with everything you do, is not going to work. Sometimes you're going to have to make decisions they won't agree with. Same with you as a child. Same with me as a child. They made decisions I didn't agree with. I grew up and understood they were protecting me from very nasty things and very nasty people, and even protecting me from myself becoming a very nasty character. And I appreciate them for that. But now I'm old enough to think and realize that. And while I don't have all the answers, I do know that if I give the excuse that I don't have all the answers to just continue let them making all my decisions, then I will just end up a mess, because it's a curve. I am at the age where they hand control back to me. They were telling me this long before I reached 18 years of age, that you need to start taking responsibility for your actions. You need to man up when you do stuff, good or bad. There will be consequences, and you need to take that into account when you're making decisions. So you need... How was I going with this? You need to start making decisions for yourself. Your parents might not agree with it, and that's alright. I mean, when I started on LinkedIn about over a year ago, it was on May 9th that I started on LinkedIn, and I did it for about 9 months. During that 9 months, my dad didn't understand what I was doing. Until now, if you ask him, he probably wouldn't necessarily agree with what I'm doing. He's not stopping me. He honors what he says when he says, the life is in your hands, do what you want, but there will be consequences. We are a family, and we will try to help you out of your mess, but do know that you are responsible for your mess. Depending on the mess, we'll just leave you to, we won't let you, die or stuff like that, but we will let you sit with the consequences, so you know not to do this the next time. But anyway, back to what I was saying. He probably doesn't agree with me making content. He'd most likely like to say, spend most of your time still learning and using these various learning opportunities that are made available, because in my country there are a lot of learning opportunities for these AI technologies and machine learning, for coding. We're having a sort of technological boom where the government and various countries are sponsoring individuals my age and older, up to around I think 40 or 50, to learn these skills and enter the workforce. And it's a great thing. I'm not even gonna lie. There's still corruption, obviously. Every government is corrupt, but they've actually followed through on the majority of their promises. They gave us good teachers. They gave us good working environments, and they taught us skills that we've used to build real world solutions. It's how I built my machine learning project that won me my first tablet. I think that's the first tablet I've won in a competition. I think that's even just the first competition I did almost entirely by myself and won. It was really, I was happy with that feeling. But my dad is going to be like, you need to just continue learning. But I was like, I don't. It's not that I don't want to continue learning. I'm just tired of taking in information and not building anything. The funniest thing is, I told him that, and I still believe that. I always believe that. But I then now left learning and went to just consuming content non-stop, taking in useless information. Sometimes not useless, but in the moment I couldn't do anything about them, so it was useless to me, even though intrinsically it's not useless. But I was just consuming way too much information, and I was like, I need to stop. So about 3 months ago or 2 months ago, I took a break from LinkedIn. I said I'm now continuing again. Not because it's the platform fault, or not that I won't go back to LinkedIn ever. I just said everything's falling apart, okay? Clearly along the road on my self-development journey, I got caught up in the hustle bustle and the all the stuff that was chaotically happening at that point in time, and I needed to come to terms with the reality of where I was right now after the actions that I've taken. And I realized a lot of the founding principles that I thought that I said that I would hold, well, not a lot of them, but some of them I'd forgotten, and others I just ignored. The ones that I did refuse on compromising was kind of what pulled me from the brink, because they were the line that wasn't allowing me to make the decisions that would have just completely destroyed me and my personality. And so eventually I just realized, looking back, like, I was so dangerously close to the edge, and thank God for his grace, he pulled me back from the edge. And I was just so hollow inside. I felt like there was an AI window of opportunity as big as the internet, as I had heard from people on the internet saying, like, this is a boom even bigger than the internet. I feel like so many opportunities were passing me by to be the youngest billionaire, trillionaire, millionaire. It wasn't even so much about the money. It was just about knowing that I'd done something with the opportunity that was handed to me, and I didn't miss out on all that was happening at the time. And looking back, it was internet influencers using FOMO to get people to buy their products. The AI window is not closing. In fact, now it's discovering a lot of what's been going on is a hype bubble that's popping. Yes, AI is a big technological advancement. It's just not as big as what it's been marketed as. But that's AI. I'm talking about doing something. I don't want to lose my train of thought. The point is, I felt so hollow inside because I felt like I wasn't making good use of my time. I felt like I was running out of time when I was literally 18. I felt like if I don't do it all right, I won't be financially well off by like 25 and retire forever. And I was like, I was packing what the influencers had sold me like it was mine. And so I shed it all off, and it wasn't an easy process. So much of it was because, the thing about the most dangerous lies is they're 99% truth. They feel like this is obvious truth, but no, there's that 1% that makes everything fall apart if you go deep enough. And I had gone to the point where I was like, okay, no, this ain't for me. My self-worth is not based on what I do for society. My self-worth is intrinsic. God saw enough of worth in me. he put enough in me that he green lighted the operation to make me. That is weird way of expressing it, but please bear with me. He saw enough in me that he thought it wise to make me, and I'm here. Although I may not have the environment that allows me to fully express the potential that's in me, I still have worth, even if I can't show it out yet, even if I'm not yet at that phase in life where I can spread out that impact to fulfill the purpose that I am here on this earth for. And I just realized I'd slowly given over control of my life into the hands of other people online. They dictated when I slept, when I woke up, what I ate, what I thought was right, what I thought was wrong. I was in a messed up condition, and so I took a break off the internet entirely, and it's been a very, very helpful thing. Yeah, I'm not even joking. Like, it has become a part of my non-negotiables there. Entertainment must go offline. True entertainment happens when I can sit with it like long enough. You don't just watch a movie once and you know everything in the movie. With iconic movies, they will imprint something very deep in your mind. Iconic, maybe not for pop culture in general, but just for you specifically, they will imprint in your mind on that first watch. But you watch it again and again and again, and you just don't realize so many things hidden in plain sight. It's like this ever unfolding, ever springing fountain. It's just giving more and more good stuff. Of course, you eventually do start to see the bad side, the dark sides of it too. But depending on the movie, you can acknowledge that they didn't know any better, or they couldn't have done any better. And even this darkness does not draw away from the light that is the beauty of this art piece. But I don't want to lose my point. My point is, do something, okay? You're gonna have to make decisions that not just your parents, your friends won't agree with, your people who you thought were rooting for you, they won't agree with, because your dream seems like madness to them. They can't understand why you choose the decisions you choose. But I don't see the point in continuing to intake information that I can't use. Like, now you might say, but you built an ML project with the information. Yes, I did. Unfortunately, however, I built that on my laptop, because now people might say when you're building products for enterprise, you need cloud to, have enough compute power. And they're not wrong. When you're building really, really fine-tuning really large models, you do need high-end systems that cost $100,000 for like a single unit, and you need to get 10 or 20 of them. That's around $2 million, and you haven't even started building it. That's just infrastructure alone. So they're not wrong when they say infrastructure just basically means the physical stuff that you, it's not always, but in this instance that's what it means, the physical stuff that you set up to start building. So you've already spent a lot of money and you haven't really started building, and it's necessary to be able to fine-tune models smart enough to make a big difference, a change as wild as ChatGPT. But this build actually showed me something that I was blind to before. Like I said, I was carrying around beliefs that were mine because of things I've been watching on the internet. I discovered there was no need for me to try to create the next ChatGPT. I wouldn't even enjoy that process because I just don't want to. And I think I do much better if I instead addressed a prevalent issue, which I'm not the only one having, is that most people don't have high-end systems, but they could stand to benefit from AI. And even the people who do have high-end systems, the prices are so ridiculous. I'm not kidding. You could get you get 4 sticks, so it's a kit of 256 gigs of RAM, and it will be like $3,000. You have bought, even till now, as bad as the prices are, you can get a good gaming PC with like a 5070 or 5070 Ti for that price. I'm not joking. You can get, plus or minus, that 5070 Ti is a bit of a stretch, maybe on a good sale, but you can get it. And it's like they're trying to keep this out of the hands of, everyday people. And I discovered my mission. Now, there's so much to talk about. I won't be able to do it in one video. Like I said, my hardware is not very powerful, and rendering these videos take a lot of time. I want to make a lot of them, but I don't want to stuff too much information into one video. I suppose what I'm just trying to say is do something, okay? And fully accept that people will not agree with all the choices you make. But if you believe in yourself, if you know that you own the thought, you are willing to follow this through and see the consequences, make the choice to do something. Thank you for listening.